everybody out there in LinkedIn land. Emily here. It's time for another one of my Own Your Expertise interviews. I'm Emily Crookston, owner and decider of all things at the Pocket PhD. I'm the ghostwriter for Rebels, Renegades, and Mavericks. I love helping experts with big ideas get those ideas out of their heads and into the hands of their fans. Today, I'm sitting down with Danielle De La Mare. Danielle is a career wellness coach and the owner of The Self-Compassionate Professor. She often works with mid-career academics and recovering academics like myself. So Danielle, thank you for speaking with me. Would you like to tell us a little bit more about who you work with and what you do?
Yes, I basically help people to make a decision about whether or not they want to leave academia. And I help them to try to regulate their nervous system so that they can be better connected with themselves and calm. And that's when good decisions come, right? Because so many people are either overwhelmed or they're burned out. And in those states, they're not able to make good decisions. So that's the career wellness part, right? I help you to find your wellness so that you can then make decisions because you actually are connected to your inner wisdom after that, as opposed to before. So, yeah.
So when did you make the transition? How long has it been for you?
2018 is when I left.
Okay.
2018. So it's been a few years, and I don't think that I've ever felt so calm on a regular basis in my entire life. I finally sort of have a handle on my life in a way I never did before. Because like you said, I was always in survival mode. And it took a cancer diagnosis too, right? I had to really hit a wall before I really stopped all the frenzy and the survival mode stuff. And so it's been, I would say it's been a long few years. Because there's a lot of healing involved and all the stuff. But I'm in a good place now.
That's awesome. That's really good. Yeah, I mean, man, that's a story I hear often. Not always cancer, but often a health diagnosis that makes people stop with the frenzied stress.
And what's so meaningful about it to me is that it kind of feels like I'm helping myself retroactively, right? So I'm helping people who are in the position I was. And that is so cool because it's I can solve that problem I couldn't solve back then. I get to solve it over and over and over again, right? I get to help people solve it over and over again. And that's really cool.
Thinking about paying your past self back. That's a cool flip. I like that mindset shift. Very good. Yeah, very cool. So related to this, tell us about your die in a ditch belief. So I always like to ask, I always like to ask my interviewees their die in a ditch belief. And it's something that, you'd be willing to defend if someone pressed you on it. It's kind of a line in the sand you could draw for yourself. It's something that you believe pretty strongly. So tell us, what's your die in a ditch belief?
It is that your life should be calm. Your life you should feel calm on a regular basis. I'm drinking coffee right now, and normally old Danielle would have not done that because she would have been I have to perform. I have to be on. I have to be doing the right thing and holding myself in a certain way. And now I'm no, I get to chill out and have coffee and chat with Emily, and I don't have to be freaking out. And I even can do it, on LinkedIn Live. It's okay to calm down. And I'm always telling my clients this: rest before something, rest in the middle of something, rest at the end of something. You should always be resting in the moment, resting in yourself, noticing how you're feeling, processing your emotions.
So here's another question. What has helped you the most in learning to own your expertise?
Okay. So that has to do with finally identifying what my favorite skills are.
Okay, yeah.
I like to listen. I prefer to listen over talking, and have always been that way. I wrote some of them down. I like synthesizing information and seeing patterns emerge. And I'm also like intuitive. I notice what's going on in my body right away, and I can read those signals, and I can allow those things to sort of help me navigate my life. Those are my favorite skills. I did not use them when I was an academic. I never used them, right? Well, I shouldn't say that. Like, I love doing discussion in the classroom. Like, I would do that. Yeah. Go into class and listen to what they had to say. Yeah. But I wouldn't let myself fully get into listen mode, because I was a teacher. I was a professor. I needed to talk. I needed to profess. Yes. So I would get in there and do stuff that I didn't really want to be doing. And if I would have known my favorite skill was to listen sooner, I would have changed the way I taught, so that I could relax more in my teaching, relax more in the moment. Well, and I couldn't do that as an academic. Like, I wouldn't let myself do it as an academic. That was the right way to do my work, as opposed to listening to my body. So yeah, there are a lot of things I could have done differently if I'd have known my favorite skills, and I would have designed my work life in a life.
Yeah. So what were you teaching? What did you teach?
Communication studies. So like public speaking, intercultural communication, interpersonal communication, not like media stuff.
Okay. Very cool. Speaking. Yeah, that's neat. So how did you figure this out? When did you say, wait a minute, I got to figure out what my skills are? Was there
well, honestly, it was after I left academia, and I had to leave because my husband took a job across the country. So I was like, oh, well, that worked out, because I had like a 10-year plan. So it looks like I'm leaving now. So I left. And when I wasn't an academic anymore, I started getting into all the post-doc stuff. And then, it's like, you should know your skills and blah, blah, blah. And when I figured out my skills, I lost my mind. I was like, oh my gosh, this is why I want to be a coach. Listening, synthesizing information, intuitive stuff, right? Like, I'm doing that all the time as a coach. So yeah.
I see. Cool. Yeah. I think I've heard, similar stories. You become a business owner, or, you do one of these skills tests just because you're like, what am I going to do now? Take some tests and you're like, oh, that's interesting. Oh, Danielle, I've really enjoyed this conversation. Thanks so much for joining me today.
Oh, I have too, Emily. I'm so glad we've been chatting a lot lately.
Yes, me too. Awesome. Yes, I was on Danielle's podcast, The Self-Compassionate Professor, right?
Episode 76, everyone. Trusting your entrepreneurial path.
Yes, awesome.
Or
love
the
it.
Entrepreneurial path, yeah.
Cool. So tell everybody where they can find out more about you if they're curious.
So you can go to selfcompassionateprofessor.com. And you can check out the podcast. I have like a blog that I wrote a little bit when I was still a faculty member. I haven't like touched it since then. But anyway, if you wanted to see it, you could. It's on my website. I also have a decision guide there, though, on the sort of welcome page that's like, how can I make a decision about whether or not I want to leave academia? You can download that there. So there's that. And also, you can do a free consult, 20-minute consult to see if, we're a good match. Anyway, selfcompassionateprofessor.com. Thanks, Emily.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks.